the voice of doubt is paralyzing your faith. Today, we're going to learn how to silence it, not with empty platitudes, but by forging an unshakable strength from the very challenges that seek to weaken you. You see, true power isn't about avoiding the storm. It's about becoming the rock that withstands it, and you already possess the blueprint for that strength within you. We often find ourselves caught in a cycle, don't we? A relentless tide of worries, obligations, and the suffocating pressure of expectations, both our own and those thrust upon us. It's in these moments that we instinctively recoil, seeking the soft comfort of what's familiar, even if familiar means remaining stuck in a place of quiet desperation. We yearn for an easier path, a divine intervention that smooths every rough edge, forgetting that sometimes the most profound spiritual growth is found not in comfort, but in the crucible. This isn't just about enduring, it's about actively transforming. It's about understanding that the very discomfort you instinctively shy away from is often the precise ingredient needed to temper your spirit, much like steel is forged in intense heat. This process isn't accidental. It's a deliberate God-given design for your elevation. Your true strength isn't sitting dormant, waiting for a perfect moment to emerge. It's a muscle that atrophies with disuse and grows with intentional exertion. This journey we're embarking on today isn't about escaping your reality. It's about redefining your relationship with it, seeing every crack and tremor not as a sign of weakness, but as an invitation to build a deeper, more resilient foundation within your soul. It's about recognizing that the strength you pray for is often cultivated in the very struggles you fear. You see, the true battle isn't out there, in the chaos of the world. It's an internal one, fought in the landscape of your mind. We tell ourselves stories, don't we? Tales of limitation, of past failures, of circumstances beyond our control. We become masterful architects of excuses, subtly shifting blame to everything and everyone but ourselves. This isn't about guilt. It's about recognizing a profound truth. Your inner world shapes your outer reality. Sarah, a single mother in her late 30s, ran a small bakery. For years, she blamed the economy, the rising cost of ingredients, even her unreliable oven, for her struggles. Her thoughts were a constant loop of "I can't" and "it's not fair." Her bakery, Sarah's Sweet Treats, was barely breaking even, and the joy she once found in baking was replaced by a dull ache of anxiety. This isn't just Sarah's story. It's ours. We allow negativity to build a fortress around our potential, trapping us in a cycle of self-pity and inaction. But what if the key to unlocking your strength lies in dismantling that fortress, brick by brick, by taking radical personal responsibility for every thought, every choice, every outcome? What if the first step to your breakthrough isn't a miraculous external shift, but a quiet, internal revolution where you reclaim ownership of your narrative? It's a profound shift from a victim mentality to one of authorship, where you recognize that while you can't control every external event, you absolutely control your response to it. This is where your power truly resides. So, are you ready to stop being a passenger in your own life and start gripping the steering wheel? If this message resonates deep within your spirit, if you're tired of feeling powerless and ready to step into the strength God intended for you, then I invite you to join this community. Share your thoughts in the comments below. What's one area where you're ready to take radical responsibility? And if you haven't already, consider subscribing. Your engagement helps us share these messages of hope and transformation with more souls who need to hear them. One of the most insidious obstacles we face on this path to unshakable strength is our innate aversion to discomfort. We are wired for ease, for the path of least resistance. But consider this. A sculptor doesn't create a masterpiece by avoiding the hammer and chisel. They embrace the precise, often jarring impact of the tools to chip away at the raw stone, revealing the form hidden within. Similarly, Our spiritual strength is not found in the absence of pressure, but in our willingness to lean into it. Sarah, our baker, faced sleepless nights filled with worry. Instead of succumbing to despair, she started using those early hours to experiment with new recipes, to analyze market trends, to understand her finances intimately. It was deeply uncomfortable. Her body ached, her mind raced, but she chose to see it as the sculptor's hand at work. This isn't about masochism. It's about understanding that growth rarely happens in comfort zones. The Bible often speaks of testing and refining fire, not as punishment, but as processes of purification and strengthening. Take the prophet Jeremiah, who was told to build and to plant, even in times of great upheaval. His discomfort was real, yet his obedience forged a legacy of enduring faith. We mistakenly believe that embracing discomfort means simply toughing it out. No, it means recognizing it as a divine invitation to stretch, to learn, to adapt, and to discover capabilities you never knew you possessed. It's about moving from "I can't bear this" to "What is this moment teaching me about myself and about God's provision?" What if the very thing you're avoiding is the pathway to your greatest breakthrough? And then there's the second obstacle, the overwhelming focus on the problem itself rather than the path to its solution. We get so fixated on the weight of the issue that we become paralyzed, unable to see beyond the immediate pain or struggle. It's like staring at a massive rock blocking your path and lamenting its existence, rather than looking for a way to move it, go around it, or even tunnel through it. Here's the surprising revelation. Your energy follows your focus. If you constantly dwell on the problem, you empower the problem. If you shift your focus, even incrementally, towards potential solutions, you begin to empower yourself and invite divine creativity. Sarah realized that complaining about her broken oven wouldn't bake a single loaf of bread. Instead, she started researching used equipment, asking for advice from other bakers, even considering a temporary partnership with a friend who had a commercial kitchen. It wasn't about ignoring the problem, it was about acknowledging it, and then immediately pivoting to, what can I do about this? This is a profound shift in mindset. The Apostle Paul, in chains and facing immense hardship, didn't focus on his captivity, but on how he could still preach the gospel, how he could still encourage distant churches. His letters, written from a prison cell, became timeless sources of hope and liberation. This isn't about denying reality. It's about choosing where you invest your mental and spiritual energy. Are you pouring it into the quicksand of despair or into the fertile ground of possibility? When you pivot from "Why me?" to "What now, Lord?", you unlock a wellspring of inner strength and divine guidance that transforms obstacles into stepping stones. This brings us to a profound spiritual turning point. The realization that true strength isn't something you acquire from external sources, but something you awaken from within, a divine truth already resident in your spirit. The central biblical truth here is deeply transformative, found in passages like Romans 8:37, which reminds us that in all things we are more than conquerors through him who loved us. This isn't a mere platitude, it's a declaration of your inherent spiritual identity. It means that the power to overcome, to endure, to thrive, is not something you have to earn or beg for. It's a gift already woven into the fabric of your being through your connection with God. This realization sparks an inner transformation. Sarah had always seen herself as a victim of circumstance, small and insignificant in the face of her challenges. But as she began to shift her focus to solutions and take ownership of her thoughts, she started to see glimmers of this inner strength. She realized that her resilience wasn't coming from a new loan or a perfect market, but from an unyielding spirit that God had placed within her. She began to trust that deep well of inner strength, that quiet confidence that whispered, "You are capable, you are resilient, and you are not alone." This isn't just about positive thinking. It's about aligning your perception of yourself with God's truth about you. It's about recognizing that the divine spark within you is infinitely greater than any external fire you may face. What if the very strength you've been seeking externally has been waiting patiently to be recognized and unleashed from deep within your own spirit? This interior awakening brings about a powerful new perspective, the understanding that adversity is not a roadblock, but a tailor-made opportunity for growth. It's a chance to refine your character, deepen your faith, and reveal the incredible resilience God has placed within you. I once knew a man named David, a seasoned carpenter who lost his entire workshop in a devastating fire. Everything he had built over decades, gone. But instead of despairing, David saw it as a chance to rebuild, not just his workshop, but his entire approach to his craft. He learned new techniques, embraced sustainable materials, and created a space more innovative and efficient than his old one. His testimony wasn't just about recovery, it was about radical improvement born from loss. This isn't about trivializing pain, it's about recognizing the transformative potential embedded within every challenge. The Bible often speaks of suffering, producing perseverance character, and character hope. This isn't a linear progression of mere endurance. It's a profound spiritual alchemy. It's about understanding that the very things that seem to break you are often the very things that make you. This expansive application of the growth mindset extends beyond personal trials. It applies to communal struggles, to societal challenges. When we cultivate this perspective, we stop seeing problems as dead ends and start seeing them as masterclasses in divine design, teaching us invaluable lessons, sharpening our resolve, and ultimately leading us to a stronger, more purposeful existence. So how do we put this into practice? How do we actively forge this kind of strength? It starts with practical, deliberate steps. First, embrace discomfort as a training ground. Don't shy away from the hard conversations, the challenging tasks, or the moments of self-doubt. Instead, lean into them, asking, what can I learn here? How can I grow through this? This isn't about seeking pain, but recognizing its potential for purification. Second, master your thoughts. Become the vigilant gatekeeper of your mind. When a negative thought arises, don't just dismiss it. Actively replace it with a truth-filled, solution-oriented thought. This takes practice, but it's a muscle that strengthens with use. Third, take radical personal responsibility. Stop blaming, stop excusing. Own your responses, your choices, your path forward. This isn't about self-condemnation, but about self-empowerment. Fourth, cultivate relentless action and discipline. Even when you're tired, even when motivation wanes, take one small, consistent step forward. It's the accumulation of these small steps that builds momentum and reveals progress. Finally, maintain composure under stress. When the pressure mounts, take a breath, center yourself, and remember that clear thinking is your greatest asset. This isn't about being emotionless, but about being guided by wisdom rather than panic. This vision for your renewed life isn't a distant dream. It's a choice you can make day by day, moment by moment. It's an invitation to a life where you are not merely surviving but thriving, where obstacles become opportunities, and where your faith is not just a belief, but a vibrant, living force. We've journeyed together from the quiet desperation that seeks comfort to the powerful realization that true strength is forged in the crucible of discomfort through intentional action and an unshakable trust in God's presence within us. This isn't about becoming immune to life's difficulties. It's about becoming so rooted in your inner strength, so anchored in divine truth that no storm can uproot you. Imagine a life where challenges don't paralyze you, but instead activate a deeper well of resilience. A future where you don't merely react to circumstances, but actively shape your response, becoming the author of your own story, guided by purpose and empowered by faith. This isn't a destination. It's a continuous journey of growth, refinement, and revelation. Just like our baker, Sarah, who, by embracing discomfort and taking radical responsibility, transformed her struggling business into a thriving hub of joy and community. You too can forge a life of profound purpose and strength, not despite your challenges, but because of them. Remember, the power is within you, gifted by the divine. So as we conclude this message, I want to leave you with a challenge. Step into the discomfort, lean into the growth, and know that you are not alone on this path. If this message has stirred something within your soul, if you feel a renewed sense of hope and purpose, I encourage you to share your story. What's one step you're committed to taking this week to embrace discomfort and forge your unshakable strength? Let's build a community of empowered souls, sharing our journeys and inspiring one another. Your story could be the very light someone else needs.